Douching. Y'all have been using these wrong. Well, maybe not these specifically, but it's not your fault. Sex ed has failed just about everyone on this planet, and even if it was half as good as it should be, we can bet money it probably would not cover queer sex ed, let alone butt stuff. Until then, your ass is in safe hands. So we're gonna talk about douching and how to do it safely so you can cut your prep time in half and protect your rectum too. Before I even start talking about douching though, I just wanna put some emphasis on fiber. Fiber is a long-term game. A lot of people pop fiber supplements and think that it's a magic pill solution and they're good to go. In fact, if fiber supplements are doing their job too quickly, that usually means it's because you've been fiber deficient for so long that your body is fucking ecstatic when there's finally some fiber in your body. Now, you gotta stay on those fiber supplements to keep getting that response. You don't just pop them when you're gonna bottom. If you stick with it when it comes to fiber, whether that's naturally in your diet or fiber powders and capsules as supplements, you will see the benefits in no time. You're gonna have more regularity, cleaner bowel movements. You might not even need to wipe. Some of y'all's fiber game is so strong and consistent that you don't need to douche. It's really all about knowing your regularity at that point. Have I gone to the bathroom today? When was the last time I went to the bathroom and how was it? Did you look in the toilet and you saw that everything looked nice and solid? If that's the case, you are good. This is your rectum and it is about 8 to 9 inches long for most people. So if it's been evacuated, aka you had a bowel movement, there is plenty of room in there for the day, for days. So if you can, try to get more consistent with fiber and only douche as needed. But I'm not gonna be able to stop any of y'all from doing it, so let's talk about how to do it right. Oh shit. Now, many of y'all have probably seen this douche before, and I don't even have that in this house to show y'all, because they're awful. They're too damn big, the tips are too damn long. Sometimes you'll go into the store to find them and they're vaginal douches. In all reality, it's just because we've all had the same sex ed. So even the buyers at some of these sex stores don't really know what they're buying. They just know they can sell it to you. Back to that rectum image that I just showed you. When you use these very big douches with these super long nozzles, you are overdoing it and flooding your bowels. They shoot water past your rectosigmoid junction, the curve in your colon, and that is flooding out your sigmoid colon, which is full of poop that wasn't ready to come out to begin with. That's why when you're in the bathroom prepping, it's taking forever sometimes and the water is never running clear. You simply overdid it. Additionally, these giant douches also push the stigma that you need to be doing all that work and flooding out your bowels to even engage in anal sex. I can guarantee that no one in the Greek and Roman Empire, people that were notoriously into anal, were doing anything like that. There were no giant douche bulbs at your local sex shop in ancient Greece. So back to these two douches that I have here. This one is due, and this is actually a prototype that I'm working on at the Bottoms Digest. You heard me right. And this one's pretty close to coming out, so let me know if you want one. Starting with the small douche, before you even say any bullshit about, oh, that's too small for the kind of dick I take, you need to watch this video because your girl's taking big dick all the time and I use specifically this douche. Using a douche this small will also guarantee that you, one, can't overfill it, and two, the tip is what I usually tell people to do if you have a douche about this big. Use half the tip. So the length is nice and short, and when you shoot the water in, it ain't gonna go past your rectosigmoid junction. At least it'll be a lot harder for it to. Yes, I know fisting is a completely different lane, and I'm actually looking for people to work with on a YouTube video about fisting in the future, so hit me up. Now, this douche to me is still a little too big, and this is about as big as I'm willing to go. But it also only looks as big as it is because there's space inside for this special little valve. This is actually a dip straw in the douche, and what that really means is that there is no backflow, no extra air that's getting shot up in you, and it's not sucking any of the water back out of your rectum. Now, if you don't have a douche this big, and you still have one this big or bigger, and you're just being economical and you don't really want to go buy anything new, just start to use less of the tip and less of the water right away. So here's how to use these douches. The first step is you always want to use lukewarm water. No soap, none of that shit, just plain Jane lukewarm water. And no Husk, no to saline solution. That is purely for actual constipation, not for getting railed up the ass. The next step is you're gonna wanna make sure that there is no extra air trapped in that douche. It's not gonna overcomplicate your douching process if you get any air in there, but it can get trapped in your rectum and it can be a little painful during bottoming later on. Make sure you lube up the tip really well before inserting it in. And if you're someone that's usually very tight, even too tight for a finger to go in, do Dr. Carlton's butt clock technique to loosen up a little bit so that the nozzle will go in a lot easier. One question I get asked about all the time is, once you have the water in the douche, what position do I get in to insert the douche? Now I've seen all kinds of crazy shit about rolling over on all your sides with the water in, all this stuff, but to be honest with you, that just increases the likelihood that water is gonna tip past that curve in your colon into the sigmoid colon, making your prep a mess. I 100% recommend standing up when you douche. When you're standing up, gravity is on your side. Sure, I brought up the recto-sigmoid junction a lot, but you really don't want to get water past that, and all these funky poses while douching can really do that. Also, you want the water that you're putting in there to come back out. So when you shoot it up, gravity is immediately working on it to push it back out. Another question I get asked about all the time is how long to hold the water in. Now, assuming you're doing everything right, you're not over douching, you're not using too much, you're standing up, then it's kind of preference. You can either evacuate the water immediately, which is honestly my go-to, or your body will say, bitch, it's time to let this out. Either way, if you do choose to hold the water in, just try to not lay down or anything like that, because you're gonna tip the water into the sigmoid colon. I will keep repeating it. When you're done douching, I love to use the nozzle to get any trapped water out of my rectum. Of course, a butt plug or a prostate stimulator would also do this job very well. When you insert these in and you slowly and gently exhale while pulling them out, any water that's up there is going to come out, and that's better that way rather than it coming out all over your bed. Now, I know douching might not be the most fun thing on the planet, but you can make it better for yourself. I have a note on my notes app that has all of my favorite porn scenes that I've watched over the years that I've collected, so that if I'm douching and I want to stay in the mood, if something's not going the way I want it to, I'll put on one of these tried and true scenes that I love rather than trying to find something with lubey, wet hands. I have a whole bank of videos that I already know and love. You can also just put on really good music that makes you pop off, that's got you in the vibe, that's got you shaking your ass, anything that just makes it feel a little more fun, right? When you're done douching completely, you've gotten all the water out and all that, just give yourself about 15 minutes or so to just reset. And last but not least, try to not do this too many times a week. When you're douching, you're disrupting the lining in your rectum, and that can really cause some long-term problems if you're not careful. It's just really important to remember that douching is unique to each person and every body. Some people have IBS, some people have had colon surgery, some people are sex workers. I could list a million different circumstances and situations, so listen to your body and always remember less is more when it comes to douching. Shit happens, even for porn stars, y'all. Now, if you're worried about douching for big dicks, don't really worry about that as much, because preparation for relaxing and stretching your muscles is a lot more important. So make sure you check out this video to get stretched out. Bottoms up.